Hello, and thank you. Again, my name is Kurt Workman. I'm one of the co-founders and CEO of Owlet. We have a connected parenting platform that empowers parents with the tools and technology that they need to better care for their child. I'm really grateful for this opportunity. As a first-time entrepreneur, I've been the beneficiary of this ecosystem in Utah and the life sciences ecosystem that's been built. I'm very grateful to Kelvin for this opportunity and for creating this ecosystem. I'm a Utah native. I grew up about 15 minutes north of here in Farmington, Utah, and I think I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always had an interest in entrepreneurship. When I was 13 years old, my dad agreed to let me build a paintball course in our backyard, which I think shows how cool my dad is, and our neighbors too. And it was really cool because I was a pretty shy teenager. I didn't have a lot of friends, but the whole school would come over and we'd do big paintball tournaments, and I'd fill up their CO2 tanks. I studied chemical engineering at BYU. I think my heart and my passion was always in innovation and entrepreneurship while I was there. I helped start the Student Innovator of the Year competition and a club called Venture Factory that paired student engineers with student entrepreneurs to help create and build projects. During college, I had the opportunity to live in Guerrero, Mexico as a missionary. It was one of the most impactful experiences of my life, and it really changed how I thought about what I needed to be happy. And living there, there's so much need all around me. And you know, I think for a lot of people that might get you down, but as an entrepreneur, it actually fills you with this energy of creation and wanting to solve problems. And since that time, I've helped start an incubator in Mexico where we fund entrepreneurs in Mexico to help them build and innovate to solve problems in their communities. I'm an angel investor in Angel Hub of Monterey. And it's become a big passion and really changed my spirit of entrepreneurship from, wanting freedom and autonomy and money to wanting to use entrepreneurship as a tool to effectuate sustainable change. Coming back to the States, I also had another impactful experience. I was driving from Provo to Salt Lake. And I don't know why during this drive, I can't remember why, but it just hit me that life is short. And I know it's kind of a funny realization, but I thought about, being an entrepreneur and starting a company. You might spend, 10 to 15 to 20 years building a company. I'm on year 9 with Owlet. And if you did that, you might have, 2, max 3 opportunities to really build projects you're passionate about. And it became this really big filter for me. And there's a really great TED Talk that talks about procrastination. And in that talk, they share a slide. I'm gonna bring that slide up here of an average 90-year lifespan, the weeks of our life. And it's mapped out on a slide. And what's really crazy is that every one of the weeks of a 90-year life can fit on one slide in a little box, one sheet of paper. And as I looked at that and thought about this experience I had driving from Provo to Salt Lake, I realized I wanted to do something that mattered. I wanted to feel proud of what I spent my time doing. And decided to spend my time doing things that would impact real people. And I didn't realize it at the time, but that decision to filter ideas based on impact became the most strategic business decision I ever made. When you focus on impact, by nature, you focus on solving real problems for real people. And when you solve real problems for real people, you have real customers. In addition, you cannot build a company without having the support of a great team. And when you solve real problems and you're doing things that create impact, people want to join that team, and it becomes a strategic hiring advantage. There's this saying that a 7 can't hire a 10. And I feel like I'm living proof that a 7 can hire a 10 all day long. We have incredible people at Owlet, and they join because they're passionate about what we're building. First let me share a little bit more about Owlet. I started Owlet 9 years ago because my wife and I were concerned that our kids would have a congenital heart defect that runs in her family. She's had 3 heart surgeries. As a baby, as a 10-day-old baby, her mom had a feeling that something was wrong and decided to go check on her and went into the room and found her not breathing. They rushed her to the hospital where they did emergency heart surgery that saved her life. And she's had 2 since. And so as we were starting our family and talking about having kids, we obviously visited her cardiologist to see that everything was okay. And in that visit, they shared that she was healthy, her body was healthy, but our kids were at risk of the same thing. And I just couldn't shake that thought. and knew that I would need something to have, other than a little thermometer to know that my baby was okay. And traditional baby monitors, they're great, but you kind of have to monitor the monitor to know everything's all right. At the same time, a friend of mine told me about this technology they use in the hospital called pulse oximetry. It's that little red light that they put on your finger, measures heart rate and oxygen levels. This is before Apple and Garmin and Fitbit and all of the wearables had it in their technology. And I thought, that's amazing. As a parent, I need access to that information to better care for my child at home. And we came up with this slogan that we were going to be up all night so parents didn't have to be. We named the company Owlet. Now, 9 years later, over 1 million families have used the Smart Sock. And we've had nearly 1,000 stories from parents where this has effectuated real change, life-changing impact for them. We've also launched 3 other products. We took the company public in July. When I look back at this experience, I come back to this, this idea that a 7 can't hire a 10. I was a 23-year-old. I had 0 experience starting a company. And we had to build this from scratch. It's a tough technology. It's a tough industry, but it was something we were really passionate about. And the thing that allowed us to be successful was bringing in 10s, bringing in great people who also shared our passion and our vision, but also had the experience to help us get through this. Our very first big hire was a VP of operations. We were manufacturing in Salt Lake City. We had a lot of problems. The cost was really high. We knew we needed to take it overseas. And I remember meeting with my CEO mentor at that time and just saying like, hey, we're looking for this position. I was looking in my network still, and he said, pause for a second. If you could have anybody, who would you get? Any company in Utah, who would you go hire? And at the time, Skullcandy was one of the biggest, electronics companies in Utah. And I thought, if I could get somebody from Skullcandy that had navigated this problem before, that would be great. He said, well, go do it. So we ended up getting connected to the VP of manufacturing and product at Skullcandy, and he agreed to meet me for lunch. And at the time, my wife and I, we only had 1 car, and she had the car that day. So I had to take the train and then walk a mile to this Thai restaurant to meet him for lunch. And we had a great lunch. I shared everything we were trying to do. He listened intently, asked a lot of great questions. And then when the lunch was over, he went and got in his BMW. And I went out and was walking on the sidewalk to walk back a mile to the train. And it was kind of an awkward interaction because as he pulled out, he saw me walking away from the restaurant and said, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm just walking to the train to head back to Provo. And he said, well, let me give you a ride. And he dropped me off. I don't know how, but we got him to agree to another interview. And he came to our office in Provo. And the way that he recounts it is that as he was coming to the office, he didn't feel like this was going to be the right fit, but as he walked into the door and he walked up the stairs and he read the stories that we were getting from our customers, we had all these stories posted in the stairwell, he knew at that point as a young dad he had to get involved. And we now have a team of over 200 passionate parents and people working to help innovate from the best companies around the world. We have our challenges, but I'm amazed at the level of passion and commitment. In fact, I missed a slide, but in fact, our director of product management said that in his 25 years leading technology initiatives, he's driven a lot of critical projects and at times has had to force people to put in extra efforts, whether that's work weekends or nights. And he said, at Owlet, it's different. People are simply doing it because they care and they want to see this be successful. And that's not because I'm an amazing leader. It's because people care about what we're building. They use Owlet with their own children. One of the things I love most about the life sciences community, and specifically this community in Utah, is the number of lives that are being affected here. And it's everything from pregnancy care to cancer to democratizing access to healthcare across the board. This community specifically is making a big impact. And I have this theory that all businesses are really challenging. You're going to have challenges no matter what. And you can choose to fight competitors. You can choose to fight for attention in the market. Or you can fight to solve real problems that are going to help people. If you do that, you'll do it with the help of a lot of other passionate people that are going to carry the load with you. And that's made all the difference for me. Thank you.